Okay, I've now finished the second wheel arch box, so I'm at the stage where I'm going to dismantle it now, and the idea of that is so I can access the underside of the base. I'll be able to flip that over, work on that, fill it, sand it, and then I'm going to PMF that. And while I'm working on all of that, I shall take the opportunity to take these panels outside in daylight, which is always best to work in rather than the artificial light, and it shows up any blemishes in the plywood, any screw holes that I haven't finished off very well. I'll see all them, so I can do a lot of work on that outside in the sunshine as well, which is always nice. But for now, I'm going to start dismantling it. Now what I will do as I go along, well, you see I've got tape in places. Hopefully I've got the tape in the right place and the glue hasn't stuck to the parts I don't want it to stick to, but we'll see. But what I'll do when I'm going along also is there's screws like this, I'll put a cross on. So when I've got that panel outside, I don't want to fill those holes because I'll use those screw holes as locating pins, if you like, when I reassemble it. So let's get cracking, let's get some screws undone. So I finished cleaning up everything that I took off, got rid of all the tape, that's all stacked up there out the way. So I'm just going to knock a few pins in here, because I didn't do this earlier, and then I'm going to start filling everything. So that's it for now. I'll give that half an hour to go off and I shall sand it down. I'll use an 80 grit sandpaper and I'll do it by hand.
Lewis is very pleased with himself this morning because he's stolen some of my dressmaking items.
Yeah,
some dressmaking chalk in a nice bright red colour, and also my nice sharp dressmaking scissors.
Yeah, look at these.
Which he's promised only to use on material.
Oh, look at these. I think I can cut plywood with them.
I don't think you can.
Oh, good look at them. Well, look at them. So Type Bond 3 is what I'm using because it's the waterproof one. Type Bond 2, they do say isn't classed as waterproof.
So you can see that second coat is going on like a milky finish because it's not absorbing into the wood so fast.
Okay, we're going to put the canvas down because I think that's in the right. It's only somewhere near, Jill. Keep it pulled. That went down nicely, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
So I haven't got to worry about the edges because when this is not completely dried, because it is hard to cut, but when it's semi-dried, I'll go around with a Stanley knife and cut this off here flush because bear in mind this is the underneath now. So the panel will come on here, the plywood comes down the side. When I PMF that, I shall fold over the canvas and that laps onto here. And then the aluminium trim goes over on the top, so the corners are double lapped and trimmed up with aluminium. So. Right, so I've just finished sanding. Now that's had approximately 8 coats of paint on it, of white obviously, and this is the underside of the base. So having just finished sanding it, I'll just give it a wipe over with a damp cloth, get any dust residue off, and I'll put some black paint on. I'm using black paint on the underside of everything, and inside, everything inside of the tub section will all be black, matte black. The idea of that is that it will blend in with the bed line of the truck, and then everything else above that line will be painted white, and it will be this finish.
Looks like it's going on nice.
Yeah, really interested because it's the same make paint of the white, and we've been very impressed with the white. And I've spotted this matte black, and they refer to it as extra matte. So I'm hoping it'll look like a chalkboard, do you call it? Chalkboard we'd have in schools? Yeah, I'm hoping.
We'll see. And you might have noticed Lewis using a sander connected to the vacuum cleaner. He's been hand sanding for the last, I think, 3 weeks, and it's very tedious and very tiring, so he gave in and bought himself an electric sander, which I think is a very good idea.
Yeah, I did already have a sander. It was €9, I think, from somewhere. And
surprisingly, the €9 sander was not very good.
No, it wasn't very good. No.
So what's the make of the one you've just bought, Lou?
Oh, it's a DeWalt.
A DeWalt, €90, and
Yep.
it seems to be doing a really good job.
One coat of black finished. Quite pleased with that. I'm going to do definitely 2 for now, and I might do a third. But what I will do is, if I don't do a third now, it'll get a third when it's all assembled back together. So just briefly, while I was doing the white on that, I've done the inside of all the bits and pieces that I've made so far, like the wheel arch boxes, for instance. So I managed to get a couple of coats and a couple of quick sands on that. So it's just easier to paint all that while it's a flat surface, rather than when it's all together, all bolted together. I've got all the corners and you get brush lines. But to be honest, Jill's a better painter than I am, and I might get Jill to paint it when it's all assembled.
So that's the inside of the cupboards, basically?
It will be. Yeah, it's the inside walls of the tub, so it will all be covered up. But inside of the kitchen cabinets, underneath the seat, that sort of thing. So we want to be able to wipe it down anyway. It's got to look nice, even though you can't see it, because that's me. So while the paint's drying, I thought I'd cut these portholes for access to the tie downs. So as you see, I've just routed the top side. And I used one of these, put that on there with a long drill bit, and I drilled right through out the other side, and this makes sure that the drill stays pretty straight, and that helps to make sure that that hole lines up on the other side. I could push the router really hard and maybe do the whole thing from one side, but I didn't want to do that. So these are for the porthole, if you like, for the access for the anchorage points inside. So I'll just show you this, because this is the sandwich section now. If I come a bit closer, so you can see that gap there, that's because of the lattice effect that I did. And then that is the outside, which is bonded totally to the XPS. That's it. So I'll flip this over now, router off the other side. And I think my plan is to PMF inside the hole before these go in, obviously, and that will make it watertight then anyway. And all I did with my router base was just took the base cover off and just obviously measured my centre point, just dropped a bolt in there so I can just hook that in there, because it's quite a tight circle for a big router like this. I could probably do with a smaller router really. So that goes in the hole and around we go. So I do this one. That's okay, I'll just clean that up now, and that's ready for the porthole thing to go in there. I've now finished painting the underside of the base. Took about 8 coats of white paint, 3 coats of black. I'm pleased I did it this way round, dismantling and everything, because it just meant it was so much easier to work on this the right way up. I didn't want to be laid underneath it and doing that. So now all I'm going to do is mark up the perimeter on the underside where the walls will go, so I know exactly where to put my fixings. I've also marked up along here where my screws are from both sides, so when I drill through for my long fixing, I don't want to catch any of the other screws because I'll end up with a hole that I don't need. So just as a precaution, mark that up ready. So we're now going to flip this over and then I'll prep it up ready for the parts going back on, basically, that I've already made. So if Jill could just come and give me a hand. Okay. That's it. I'll prep this up now and we'll start assembling everything. I can't hold the pins with my little fat fingers, Jill.